I started out, before that, I thought I needed to go to on a mission trip. And for a year I said, no, I'm not going to go. And for that year, God continued to work with me saying, you know, you need to go to Peru this next trip. So when they announced it in church a year later, I knew I had to go. And I thought I was going because I had some skills that might be able to be used, you know, in construction. But it didn't take long after I got there to realize that God could care less if I could swing a hammer or not. That's not why I was there.
I remember going to Peru with Rob on a mission trip. A group of us from Springdale went, and I watched him that week, and I knew that God was dealing with him. And I remember on the ride home, leaving that little town of Ayacucho, 14,000 feet above sea level, headed back to Lima, where we were going to catch a plane the next morning and head home. And Rob said to me, you know, I don't know what my life is going to be. I don't know what God's asking me or what God's calling me to do, but I know it's going to change, and I'm going to do whatever it is that God wants. And we began to have talks that day about what it would be to go into the ministry, and if truly that was what God wanted of him.
And after a while, I realized that while I was there, he pulled me away from everything I was comfortable with, back at home with work and everything else, just to slow me down enough to say, hey, I need you and I want to use you. So that day was the first day that he really, you know, came, and I tell a story that he came and tapped me on the shoulder, because it was as real as if he came and tapped me on the shoulder that day. On the way home, I spoke with Rick and said, Rick, you know, he just spoke to me. It was as real as me speaking to you right now. I'm not sure exactly what he wants to do with me, but he definitely got my attention, and you know, I got to obey him. And you know, to be honest with you, at first it scared me to death, because nothing like that has ever happened to me before. So I was kind of walking blindly for the longest time, just kind of looking for what he wanted me to do. You know, when I started talking about this with Randy, you know, I knew we were both kind of uncomfortable because we didn't know what it was leading. I was comfortable into a career. She's comfortable into her career. And finally we just had to lay it down and say, okay, you know, if this is what you want to do with us, then we're going to lay down and you know, submit and do with us what you will. And that was one of the hardest things for me to do, is to finally say, okay, God, do with me what you will. And I didn't know. I finally talked to her one night and said, hey, if we had to move, you know, somewhere, you know, would you be okay with that? And well, her answer was, what do you mean? Like Guatemala or something? I said, no, I think probably the continental USA. She goes, I think I'd be okay with that, you know. So I think, you know, we kind of got prepared for whatever might happen. But at the end of the day, you know, we prayed together, and we truly just wanted whatever God's will was, whether that was Cincinnati or, you know, California.
You know, I don't know what Rob and Randy's future looks like, but I'm excited because I know that they have made up their minds. They're going to follow God's call in their life and do whatever He's asking them to do. And so I know because of that, their future is very bright. And He obviously has an incredible plan for their lives.